What's up, everybody? Jason here with another retro review. We're going to keep moving through this Spider Marathon with Spider-Man 3. Since this movie is over 15 years old, I'm not going to give a spoiler warning. I don't really see the point of that. That being said, let's dive in, shall we? So I've had quite a interesting relationship with Spider-Man 3. When I first saw it, I was about 16 years old. I was a young, dumb teenager, and I thought the action was cool. The melodrama was perfect for my angsty teenage brain, and I didn't really care much about story or plot the way that I do now as an adult. Over time, the glaring problems with this movie kind of reared their ugly head in my eyes, and I've kind of sort of soured to the movie a little bit. I saw it on the big screen for Spider Mondays, and just the energy in the room, everybody laughing and having a good time at some of the bad dialogue, the cheesy, hammy acting, and just some of the crazy over-the-top decisions was really enjoyable and really invigorating, and let me just kind of loosen up and feel at ease about everything, because it is what it is. The movie is the movie. It's not like you can change it or anything. Now, there is a producer's cut that does slightly change things a bit. It adds some never before seen footage. It uses alternate takes and unused music cues, and kind of changes a little bit of the context of the film, kind of helps it feel a little bit more organized. That's, of course, not the film that I saw on the big screen, but this movie's still enjoyable. It's still fun, despite its flaws. The performances are still pretty incredible. They're still pretty reliable. You've got Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker, delivering like this very, at times, awkward and super emotional performance, but also really kind of playing it like the pride before the fall, which is what I could see they were going for. And everybody gives Tobey a hard time for emo Spider-Man in this movie. And I've seen the memes. That dancing, yeah, I mean, people have been laughing at it ever since this movie came out. But I did see one kind of post, and it does make sense after having rewatched this movie yet again, that Peter Parker's trying to be cool under the influence of the symbiote, but because he's a nerd, he has a different concept for what is cool. So what we see as dorky, he thinks is cool. And when you look at it from that perspective, it really kind of helps you understand, and it's a lot funnier than it would have been if you're like, oh, well, this is just silly. This is just stupid. That's the point. Like, he doesn't understand. He doesn't know that it's goofy, it's stupid, it's dorky. He thinks it's cool. And that's just, it makes it a whole lot funnier. I feel like Kirsten Dunst is really put through the ringer in this movie. There's just so much going on in this movie that she's given a much more emotional ride this time, but then halfway through the movie, she's just kind of shelved. And I don't know. I don't think it's fair to the character of Mary Jane. There could have been a lot more to better resolve that story than it did. I do kind of like that bittersweet ending between Mary Jane and Peter Parker, because these movies have ended in sort of an optimistic way, and to have something kind of lingering in a kind of awkward and sort of sour way, hopeful yet, still kind of somber, was the perfect ending for this film. Maybe not for the series as a whole, but it just kind of works in a weird and, interesting way. J.K. Simmons, of course, still hamming it up as J. Jonah Jameson, and I wouldn't have it any other way. He had even funnier scenes in this movie than he had in the previous films, and he's always a delight. He's always a treat in this role, and I really enjoyed him in this movie especially. Topher Grace kind of seemed like an odd choice for Eddie Brock. He plays it kind of like the anti-Peter Parker. He's very cocky. He's very arrogant, which would have probably worked better if Peter wasn't also cocky and arrogant. I think that's kind of a mischaracterization on the part of this movie, of some of the writers with this movie. It just feels a little weird. And the problem having Topher Grace as Eddie Brock especially comes when he's Venom. And it just feels like Venom is just thrown into the movie, which he was, because it was a studio mandate and Sam Raimi didn't know what to do with him. And it just doesn't work here. And it's just, I don't know. Topher Grace is just a very misplaced casting, I feel. A lot of people were shelved in this movie. I mean, Rosemary Harris gives some of the most stoic monologues in this movie, but it just feels like that's all she's there to do this time around. She doesn't really have much of a relationship with Peter other than telling him what to do and giving him the engagement ring. I just feel it's a little bit of a missed opportunity. Same thing with Bryce Dallas Howard as Gwen Stacy. I mean, she's just there to be a part of some twisted love triangle, octagon, circle, whatever it is. I don't know. There's just so much going on in this movie, and it's just a complete mess. And Bryce Dallas Howard, as talented as she is just kind of thrown to the wayside. And it's just really disappointing. Another person who's totally like wasted in this movie. You could tell Sam Raimi wanted to make Sandman the heart of this movie. And Thomas Hayden Church, who's always great in everything that he's in, really gives a really heartfelt performance and really somber and just really filled with regret. And it's so real and so nuanced and just takes everything that Willem Dafoe did with Spider-Man and Alfred Molina did with Spider-Man 2 and just really kind of brings it to a true emotional core. But you could tell there's a conflict between what Sam Raimi wanted to do and what the studio wanted to do. And unfortunately, Sandman is the biggest casualty in this movie because he's given a lot to do in the beginning of the movie and then just kind of turned to big, dumb, brute of a supervillain towards the end of the movie. And yeah, he has that nice moment with Peter at the end where there's this reconciliation, but he doesn't really get much redemption. I just feel like there's just so many people in this movie and certain characters are given certain things to do and a lot of the plot just falls apart. And when you let go of all the flaws of the movie and just really kind of enjoy the movie for what it is, it can be a lot of fun, but it's still kind of a mess and there's a lot of missed opportunities. One thing that I don't think gets enough credit that really should with this movie is the score by Christopher Young. It's an absolute shame that it has not been officially released, but I don't know exactly why Danny Elfman didn't come back for this, maybe scheduling conflicts or whatever, but Christopher Young came in and he not only took what Danny Elfman did and built upon it, but he created some really iconic, really cool themes like Sandman's theme and the love theme for Mary Jane and Peter Parker in this movie, and also the black suit theme. And it's just, it's really hard to go toe-to-toe with Danny Elfman and actually, hold your own and stand firm. But this guy really does it. And it's really incredible. It's really incredible work on his part. Really great composing. Overall, Spider-Man 3 is a huge, colossal mess, but there are some great performances. There's a lot of weird, maybe intentional, maybe unintentional humor in the movie. The action is kind of enjoyable and it does redeem itself in some places. There are performances that are really solid in this movie that don't get enough credit. And even though there's just so much going on, it's just a mix of everything and it sometimes clashes and sometimes gels. It is still enjoyable. It is still a fun time. It kind of falls in that weird category of so bad it's good, especially over the years that have passed as this film has been around. It just kind of grows on you the more time that goes on. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you thought of Spider-Man 3 down in the comments. What was your favorite part? What did you think? Do you think it was kind of a mixed bag or do you really enjoy it? I want to hear from you. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to click that like button. You want to see more videos, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you can get updates on all my future videos. You can also follow my social media pages. Links down in the description of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Bye.